Are you coming back to school with me? We could have done it all so easily.
Hi, my name is Craig Thompson-Wood. I'm your host on Teaching with Board Games, here today to look at Project L by Boardcubator. So Project L, at a first glance, might kind of remind you of games like Blocus or Tetris, where you're using different shapes which cover different numbers of squares to fill in a puzzle piece. Let me show you a quick example what I mean. So you have a shape like this, and this is an easy one, where you have to cover in these squares using these different pieces. So you can use these bends that cover 3 squares. There's these little tiny squares which are just 1, and then these green ones here which cover 2. So when they go in there, they can fit in like that. So 2 green ones would fill this piece, or there is actually one. If you have one of these, it fits in exactly. Okay, that's an example piece there. You may get other ones like this where it requires a bit more of a requirement. So what pieces are you going to use? So again, you could use like this piece like so, I said. So then you see you need that little one yellow piece at the bottom here, like that, and then maybe the 2 pieces up top. Okay, so that can do it. But there's all kinds of different shapes that you have. You have squares. So each of the different shapes. So this covers 1 square, and it's just the one. Then there's only 1, 2 that covers 2 squares. So there's only one of those. In the 3s, you have 2 different shapes. You have 3 squares in a straight line, or 3 squares in an angle, right angle. Then in the 4s, you have different configurations because you can do 4s in a variety of different shapes. And so those are going to be the pieces that you're using. The pieces here, these are the puzzle pieces. So these are slightly sunk in here. So the pieces, when they go in, they actually fit in there, and they're pretty snug in there. So the pieces show you what shape you need to fill to get your reward. The reward is the number of points at the top here. What's an interesting thing though is that the cards which are worth the most points are going to give you better piece rewards. So this one here has the blue 3 piece. So if you complete this one, you get this piece as a reward, plus you get all the pieces back from the thing here. I'll show more about that as the game is played. But these are some of the simpler ones. Then you have these ones, which are some of the more challenging ones to fill, and they're going to be worth more points in the game. And these are also your timer mechanism. When these run out, that indicates the game end. So let's just dive right into the report card. Let me tell you what I think of this game. So in looking at the number of players for Project L, I'm going to give it a B+. I give it the B+ because a B is my standard, which is 2 to 4 players. This game plays up to 4 players, but it also has a solo mode. And I always think it's nice to have a solo mode, especially in these times of COVID. I mean, I've been very appreciative of games which have solo modes because it's been harder to find people to play with. So having that is fun. And even in times when not COVID or whatever, if you just have a night to yourself and just feel like playing something, this gives you some options. So B+. For learning, I'm going to give the game an A. I give it the A because this game takes a concept which is difficult to teach in a board game format, which is this geometrical spatial reasoning, the translations, the geometrical transformations, the visualizations, the area, all these different kinds of things you could be teaching with a game like this, and doesn't in a board game format, which is quite different. There's not a lot of games out there that do it. I mean, I can think of Blocus, Baron Park is another one which does this. So it's in a category with few others in that category that come to my mind. I mean, I'm sure there's other games out there which I don't know of. And if you do know of more games, please do leave me that message in the comment section below so that I can have more games to review. But this one, as I said, there's not a lot of games which do this. And so that, to me, that is quite exceptional. So that's why I give this one the A. For fun, I'm going to give the game a B+. In playing the game, it's a fun game. I like the way that the decisions are made, that you're having different decisions you're making every turn. There's different strategies you can employ. The game is going to be different every time because different cards are going to come out at different times. You can, as I say, you can try different strategies and see which ones works for you. It's not always having to do the same thing the same way. There's different ways of going about it. So, finding the way that works for you, and I think that just the replayability is high because of the fact that, like I said, different cards are going to come out. The number of players you play with is going to make the game feel different each time, and it really sort of gets your critical thinking going and your strategies and things to plan how you're going to try and win the game. So I think it's a fun one, B+. For time, I'm going to give the game a B+. I give it the B+ because the game plays about half an hour, is what the game says. And I think that's a conservative estimate because when I played, I played as a 2-player game, so it was less than half an hour for sure. And so maybe with 4 players, I haven't played at a 4-player count yet, or even a 3-player count for that matter. I've only played as a 2-player. It might get longer with those, but then again, with the 4-player game, it's going to be less cards. Now that I think the 30 minutes is a reasonable time, which is why it gets the B. But the plus is because, again, it's one of those games that if you need to modify the amount of time that you need to play, you can do it right from the beginning by reducing the number of these cards with the black backs. There's the puzzle pieces, but the ones with the black backs are your timer. When these run out, that indicates the game end. So you could just start with less of these black cards than the game indicates if you want a shorter game. But again, if you're doing this in a classroom setting and time is running out and you say, okay, well, we need to end, then just end the game. And that, somebody may say, well, I had the strategy going that I needed X number of more turns. Well, maybe give them a heads up and say, okay, we're going to end the game, 2-3 turns from now or something, so that it's not just an abrupt ending, but give them the heads up so that they have some sort of strategy plan that they can try to enact it in that time. But again, the people playing should also be conscientious of the time, so that if you are playing within a time constraint, that it can be done. But the fact that it is, again, one of these games where you could modify the time length is, to me, noteworthy, and so that's why it gets the B+. For cost, I'm going to give the game a B. The game costs, I got it for $33 from Level Up Games, and I think that's good quality for the what you're getting here. These are nice sturdy cardboard pieces with the like I said, the sunken pieces in the puzzle piece sections there. You get these nice sturdy, again, I think these are Bakelite pieces. They're very, very durable. My one concern would be losing these, but not that you would want to lose them, but if you do lose them, they are just shapes. So if you have a 3D printer, I imagine you can print some replacements or make some out of some other material. Not optimal, but at least it's not like a critical piece that's going to be lost that is going to ruin the game without it. These are, and maybe talk to the company too about finding replacement pieces if you really need to. But overall, I think the quality is high on the game. I think the components are really great, and I think the replayability is very high because that's always a consideration. Are you going to get your money's worth out of a game? So you're spending $33. If you only play it once, I don't think that's worth it. But this is not a game that you're only going to play once. This is probably a game you're going to play many times. I think that kids are going to really enjoy this game. I think that adults are really going to enjoy this game. And I think there's just a lot of great fun and learning to be had out of a game like this. But, at $33 and only playing 4 players, it is probably not one that you're going to be wanting to buy like class sets of, to have everybody in the class playing at the same time. This may be something you would have set up as one center in a class, and then as you go through the classes, they can rotate through and everybody can have a turn at it, but not everybody at once. That would probably be my recommendation if you're doing this in a classroom setting. Okay, let me take it to the table and I'll show you how this game is played. So here is the setup for a 2-player game of Project L, and you each player gets a player mat here, and you're going to randomly determine one of them says first player, so whoever gets that one is the first player. Every player, and it says here, shows here you're starting. You start with a yellow and a green, so everybody starts with the same. Now every player on their turn can take 3 actions, and it tells you what the actions are here. So for one action, you can take a puzzle. So there's these different puzzles here, and the number at the top tells you how many points they're worth. there's a shape here which shows you the reward you get for getting that puzzle. And some of them might have only a shape with no points. So in this case, it's a fairly easy one to get, but your reward is just a level 4 piece here. And so you can take a puzzle piece, that's one option you have. The second one is to take a level 1 piece, so you can take that as your action, taking a level 1. You can upgrade a piece. So in the upgrades here show, you have your level 1, 2, 3, and 4. So to upgrade a piece, you can take the piece you have and you can move it 1 up. So like, remember, so these cover 1 square. So if I'm putting this in, this covers 1 square, this covers 2 squares, and these ones here cover 3 squares, and these on the top here all cover 4 squares. So when I'm doing that, upgrading a piece, I'm allowed to do it with a piece that is 1 up. So I can go from, I can upgrade my level 1, I can put that in, I can take a level 2. Or I could take my level 2, put that in, and take one of the level 3s if I so wish. That could be my action. Now, one thing you can do as well is, say I had already like a level 4 piece, like so, I am allowed to trade this in for anything of an equal or lesser value. So if there's a piece that I really want, I just don't have the right piece for it, I can trade in like a level 4 to take another level 4 piece. That is also allowed. Now I can place a piece, so once I have a puzzle to put pieces in, I can do that. And once per turn, you can do something called a master action. And I'll explain that in a second. So let me just show you a couple rounds here of how this might look. So maybe player 1 here decides that they just want to gather puzzles. So now you'll notice too, while this one's only worth 1 point and this one's worth like 5 points, the rewards you get, like getting a green piece, this is a fairly simple one. Like this seems to be quite a lot to fill in for only 2 points, but the reward you're getting is a level 3 piece. Whereas you look at this level 5, you're doing all this work to get all this. Sure, you're getting the 5 points, but you're only getting a level 1 piece when you complete it as a reward. Now, once you do finish the piece, not only do you get the reward, but you get all the pieces back that you used to build that. So let's just say for this player's action, they're just going to say, for their 3 actions, they're going to go 1. Now, as soon as you take the piece, you replace this section. Okay, now you notice there's another one of these that doesn't have any points. And so I'll use those. 1, 2, and then 3. Those will be my 3 actions. Okay, that one comes down. And then this player will go 1, then they'll go 2 and 3 for their actions. Now, as soon as they complete this, they remove these pieces, they take them back again. This comes down to their rewards. And they get that blue piece as a reward for completing that. No points, but now they have an extra piece to work with. And this comes back down. Now, there's one thing, this master action you can do once per turn, and what you can do with that is you can place 1 piece on every puzzle that you have. You can have a maximum of 4 puzzles. So as you get to higher levels, you have more pieces and things. It becomes a really interesting strategy to plan out how you're going to use it so that you can put all those pieces into the different puzzles. So you're going to put 1 piece in 4 puzzles that you have on your profile here. So if I could do the master action here right now, I could say put 1 there. Oh, actually, sorry. Before I do that, for my 3 actions, I'd go 1. I would upgrade this piece to green. Now I would do my master action. I'd go 1 and 2. So that's my master action. So I've still only done 2 actions. I did 1 to upgrade and 1 to do my master action. And then for my 3rd action, I'll put that in there. Okay, so for this one, I get this back. I get my extra yellow. For this one, I get these 2 back. I get my extra green.
So now you see I've scored those 2 points. You see now also I have lots more pieces to work with. So as I'm on my next turn, I would be grabbing some more pieces in here, building my piece collection, starting to get better and better pieces, and then start to go maybe for more and more points. The game continues as the players start to take these in and start to fill them up, then they start to collect them. When this deck runs out, now this deck here, I've actually put too many pieces here for a 2-player game, but I believe there's 12 for a 2-player game. So when all these are out here, so that there's always going to be 4 in the profile. When the deck is empty and there's 4 here, that is the signal for the game end. The players all that round ends, and then the game continues to ensure that all players have an equal number of turns. Once all players have an equal number of turns, then the game is over. Players have a final chance to do what are called finishing touches, where they can take any of the pieces they have left over. So let's just say I had this piece in front of me here, and at this point in the game, I had it like so, and that was the end of the game, and I wasn't able to finish it. Well, it's worth 5 points, so what I can do is I can say 1, 2, so it took me 2 more moves to finish it, so I'm getting my 5 minus 2, so I get 3 more points for that one. So you just have to make note of how many finishing touches you need to get your points. So sometimes it's not going to be worth it, because if I had to do 2 to do that one, or 2 to, like, this is worth no points, so I wouldn't obviously do that. But if it's going to be worth it, if I can do it in just a couple moves or something, get a few more points, then that is allowed, provided you have the pieces in front of you to begin with. Once all the players are done, they've had equal turns, all the finishing touches are done, you tally up the number of points based on your black cards here. Whoever has the highest score is the winner. And that is how you play Project L.
Project L. As soon as I saw this game, I went to Level Up Games and they had this one on display there, and I immediately knew that, okay, this first thought is this is one that's probably going to be good for my channel. And so talked to Kyle there, and he was explaining the game to me, and as I listened to the explanations and things, I start to understand the potential there for the strategies, the critical thinking, the geometry, spatial reasoning, the measurement, all kinds of things happening in there that I'm seeing. So I thought, yes, so absolutely, I picked up a copy right away. So as I said in the review, I think that this is a kind of game that I would be definitely considering using in my classroom for a center. So as the students are going through, have different centers where one group is working on one activity, another group is working on a different activity, another group on a different activity, and one group is working on playing Project L, and sharing and talking through their experiences and sharing their understandings of the math that they're learning as they're playing the game. So this is one that I'm definitely going to be looking to be making use of in my own classroom. So if you're new to the channel, then what I'm doing is I'm putting out content on a weekly basis around topics of gamification, game-based learning. I am talking about how you can use games like this in your own classroom to help with a variety of different subjects. My whole mantra as a teacher is that I teach the way I wish I was taught. I try to incorporate games as much as possible in my own pedagogy, because I just feel that as a student, I would have learned so much better had I learned through games and gamification. And so I do that with my own practice, and I'm trying to share what I have learned with other teachers through the use of this channel, through conferences and other things. Games is a learning resource. So if this sounds like something good to you, then please remember to hit like and subscribe down below. It really does help the channel. And don't forget to hit the little bell icon as well, so that you get notified when I'm putting out new content, which, like I said, is on a weekly basis, fresh videos every week. And if you have any ideas for things you might like to see on the channel, if you have ideas for games you might like to see reviewed, books you might want reviewed, any topics around gamification, how to implement games in the classroom, buying games, anything like that, please always just leave that message in the comment section below. I will respond as soon as I'm able, and I do make efforts to seek out the games people are talking about, to add them to my collection so that I may review them and share them with you and with others, because and those kinds of suggestions are absolutely invaluable to me, because they help to make sure that I'm putting out relevant content to you, the viewer. And that is going to wrap it up for today's episode. Until next time, I am Craig Thompson Wood, your host on Teaching with Board Games, saying thanks for coming to the classroom.
Are you coming back to school with me? We could have done it all.